Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the GoodPlayGaming Southeastern Asian Invitational. This is the group stage here, and it is Arrow Gaming versus Mineski, a two-game series or a best of two between these two teams, and trying to get as many points on the board in these early stages. Now we have only had like one match already underway for the standings, so it's a pretty blank sheet. Actually, if we just look real quick over at the other standings, Arrow got 2 wins, Invasion got 2 losses, and from there it's a blank slate. So yeah, a lot of potential for other teams to pull ahead in the group stage here and move on into those playoffs. But for now, we're going to be seeing this game here, and I think both teams have a lot to show here. Obviously, Arrow Gaming, they're the #1 Southeastern Asian qualifiers. They're going to Seattle, and they're pretty happy about that, but they still want to continue improving. They want to make sure that they are on par with those teams that were invited directly and do the best they can there. So representing the Malaysian side of things, Arrow Gaming are going to be drafting up the Rubik and the Ancient Apparition. Support pair to start things off, and it looks like they're going for a bit of a wombo combo here. In the meantime, on the other side, the Pinoy Dota representers Mineski here. Yeah, switching back over to the draft overlay. Don't want to mess that up. But anyways, yeah, they are doing pretty well overall. They've had some changes in roster over the past couple of months, and it looks like they do have some stand-ins here. Chin and BYB are not their standard individuals, so that is going to be a little less than ideal for them, but they're still going to try to pull ahead as best they can in this two-game series. It's a tough opponent. Arrow Gaming are very well practiced, and it looks like they are changing up their strategy a little bit, but even still, they're a very solid team in terms of skill. Jay, captaining up the team, he has a lot of skill personally, but we'll see if it's enough here. It's going to be by Jesse Vash and NMA on his team, or ZSXC is, I think, the alias that he's going by recently. But in either case, we do have 3 out of 5 here for the side of Mineski, and they're drafting up just a good gank-oriented lineup, really. Bat Rider, Lasso to start things off, the follow-through with the Sand King, a couple of stuns are plenty to set up an arrow from the Marana, and in general that gives them some good lane dominance, that gives them a good potential to transition in from a gank movement into a team fight. But I just feel like when we look at the mid-game, if Arrow Gaming even just do okay in the lanes, they're going to be feeling pretty confident about that wombo combo. So, looking at a couple aspects here, just making sure. We did just do a quick little switcheroo as far as the streams go from BTS2 to BTS1, so I want to make sure that is as smooth as can be. But it looks like it is working out fine, so there you go. So, just looking at the earlier bans, obviously Ember Spirit slipped through to the second phase and has now been picked up in conjunction with the Darkseer. There's a lot of potential cleave with the Vacuum Cluster mechanism, but when you look at the bans themselves, obviously Mineski are afraid of what Arrow can do with their alpha lane early on, with that Doom, with Lance's Doom, with Xiangzai's Slark. There's a lot of different bans to throw out there, but primarily I think they've been focusing on cores a little heavily because of the fact that the supports were picked up so readily. So they ban out 2 cores. They ban out Lance's Lycan and Lance's Doom, and actually Arrow's run Doom in 3 different ways in the past month, but even still primarily in the carry mindset. But anyways, they ban out carries, then Arrow just snaps up the supports instead. So from there they have to focus their bans on those heroes that work really well in team fights. They can put out a lot of pressure by stealing stats. The Slark is a force to be reckoned with, but it seems like Arrow just kind of dodged that bullet entirely. They're going to go for DDZ Ember Spirit, which is one of his best mid heroes. Obviously, he's an extremely talented player in the mid in general. Tinker, Invoker, whatever you put in his hands, he's going to do a lot of work. But Ember Spirit's up there as far as his pub stomp type build-up. So combining that with the Darkseer, it's going to be Xiangzai on the offlane there. All they have to do is get a decently AoE-oriented carry, and they're going to be fine. And Lance has a number of those that'll work well. The Naga's not in the pool, but he can go for more Fling, and even Waveform's plenty of AoE damage. Can go ahead and pick up something like a Luna or a Gyrocopter. A little old meta, but still very prevalent with the right kind of setup. Right now, though, they're going to ban out the Clinks, and it seems like Mineski were worried about the Weaver the most. So that's going to be taken off the board there. Lance does play a pretty mean Weaver, but I don't know if it would have been... I guess the Chilling Touch itself is enough of a setup where they're like, okay, well, that double Geminate, we don't want to have to deal with that. So they're going to take that off the table, but I still think that any kind of AoE will do even better for Arrow, as we've seen Xiangzai do some amazing initiations with Darkseer. That said, they're mostly going to be starting the fights on the defensive. Mineski's Batrider doesn't have that many tools to pin him down. Like, you could telekinesis him back, but unless Lance is running like a Wraith King or something, you're not going to be able to get that many early kills on the Batrider, and he will get that Blink Dagger fairly early, especially on the Radiant side. So from there, a Radiant Batrider getting a Blink Dagger, they're going to start the fight on their terms, and we'll have to see how Arrow responds. Do they get Blink on the Darkseer to get that perfect vacuum off into the Ice Blast, or do they have other more sustainable plans in store? We'll see. For now, though, we're down to the last picks. Looks to be a Nyx Assassin offlane. Yeah, you never want to couple a Nyx Assassin and a Sand King together as supportive heroes. So that means Nyx and Batrider are core, either in the offlane or in the mid, both interchangeable in that respect. So that implies a carry-esque Mirana, though of course they do need one more good range support to make sure that's viable. And Mirana herself can be played as a range support. It's just, unless you have a stunning carry, like I said, the Wraith King is a really good one. I don't know how I feel about that one. So we'll see what they opt for as the draft concludes here. But just a quick run over for those that don't know, GoodPlayGaming SEA Invitational is in its earliest stages, but it is available in store. The Dota TV ticket is available. There's the Lance Morphling we're looking for, but it's going to have be featuring a lot of teams. Looking over the standings, you can see the full list there. Not only Arrow and Invasion, as well as Mineski, but Mythtrust, Titan, Scythe, MVP Phoenix, and Zero Latitude are all participating in this tournament. It's brought to you guys, of course, with coverage from Beyond the Summit and partnership with Cat in the Box. So with that, if you guys love those teams, you want to see more of them, look into the ticket. GoodPlayGaming is an awesome tournament ticket. Even though it, of course, doesn't have like a scaling prize pool, there aren't really any premium SCA tickets just yet. I don't know if this scene is sustained well enough to support anything like the Summit does, but even still, it's doing the best it can with a kind of grassroots type situation based around Malaysia. So yeah, check it out if you're into the SEA Dotas as much as I am. But we're going to find the draft concluding here. There was plenty of speculation as far as what the last potential pick could be. It turns out to be actually a Death Prophet. So I don't know if they're actually going to start the Batrider in the jungle, which is something you almost never see anymore, or if they are actually running a support Nyx with a support Sand King. I don't really see too much purpose in this. I mean, the Sand King Burrow Strike isn't that great of range of initiation early. 350 range on the Burrow Strike, as well as the Impale only lasting 1.27 seconds from its onset from the level 1. So combining those two aspects together, I don't really feel like they have the hard lockdown in their tri-lane if they are running SK Mirana plus Nyx. But could do something a little weird. Like I said, Batrider a jungle start would enable the Nyx Assassin to offlane, but then it would also cut off the Sand King from his jungle. So unless there's some swaps through, I think this is going to be something a little different than what we're familiar with. Jay always plays core heroes. He plays sometimes in the mid lane, but always in a farming role, and now we see him on the Sand King. Of course, swaps, very possible, maybe some mind games goofing around, but with all the stand-ins, that you have to wonder, maybe they are forced into a certain role set. Maybe they are a little bit concerned about what their two stand-ins are capable of, and they'll adapt to it. So we'll have to see if we're actually seeing a support from Jay, or if this is going to be just like the fastest Blink Dagger you've ever seen as he just right-clicks up a storm. But we do have everybody loaded in, but you know, the signature SEA Dota lobby Dota delay plus beginning of game pause. You just don't get away from it. It's ingrained in the culture. Just a little bit of quick, get everything together pause, make sure all the technical issues are sorted, and hell, I mean, if we can just wait a quick moment and take in the match so that we can make sure that they're playing on low ping and not having too many issues, that's always good to see. So really nothing surprising from Arrow right here. It's a very classic standard strategy from them. DDC's Ember to pub stomp on the mid, Xiangzai's offlane Darkseer to initiate, and then to follow through with Mosin and Johnny as supports. And Lance, actually, the first time I saw this guy play was on Morphling, and he played such a good game there. It looks like he expects to be up against the Batrider here, because he is picking up the Magic Stick initially. That's a pretty big deal, but we do see that, at least for the moment, Summer Zed is perched towards the mid lane. Anyways, so yeah, we'll see if he actually gets the matchup he expects. It doesn't look like it, but, you know, anything can happen here. Anyways, let's look over at the side of Mineski, since particularly their roster confuses me a little bit as far as who's playing what. We're going to see Smokes and Clarity's purchase. This is Jay Sandking playing as a support, something I have not seen from him yet. Then, double checking their icons. Mineski loves to mess with their names, so you're never going to be able to get much out of their in-game names. This is Jesse Vash right here on the Batrider, not Somerset. So, interesting alias, but no, it is Jesse Vash here. And the other known member is NMA, also known as ASD in this game for the Nyx Assassin. So I'll try to do the best I can for Jesse Vash and Immacute. Worst case scenario, I'll just call them by their heroes. But looking over at the other two, we do have Marana, played by Stand-In Chin, and the Death Prophet, played by BYB. So he's going to go for a Bottle Rush early, 1 pooled Tango, 52 right-click damage, but you compare that to the 55 and even more conservative build from Ember Spirit. Like, he has... okay, he has a slightly less gold stored up because he did purchase a Tango of his own, but at the same time, he is going to have a little bit more potential to get those last hits in before the earlier ranks in Crypt Swarm. 1 point, 100 damage nuke. It's enough to guarantee a last hit offensively, but it does push out your lane so much that the only time you really want to do it is if you're getting harassment on your opponent at the same time, or if you're going for a rune. And if that's the case, then you're going to be feeling better to push out the wave and make it so you can control the runes without DDZ being in a position where he can get both gold experience and bottle sustenance. Anyways, as far as early rotations go, obviously the Smoke on the Sand King indicates he wants to be a little bit active. Not as active as maybe a Boots first Sand King as far as roaming and moving about goes, but still enough that if he can get in the right position, he can set up a chain of disables that'll cause a lot of grief. As far as the carry for Mineski, it is in fact going to be the Marana here, going for an early Ring of Aquila. The support Nyx and support Sand King are relatively item dependent in the fact that they need some forms of mobility. They really rely on those Blink Daggers to get into the fray. But if you think about how the Ember Spirit and Morphlink like to engage, they often kind of put themselves into that bad spot in the first place. Like, if Lance wants to commit to a kill, he has to waveform forward, and that's possibly right into the waiting arms of a chain of disables. A good Death Prophet Silence, preventing the Morph Toggle, the chain of stuns to lock him in place. There's a lot of potential there to cause him some real grief. And you can say things similar to the Ember Spirit. He's kind of more in and out rather than just all in. But even still, the Sleight of Fist, you commit with a Fire Remnant and they can try to catch you off guard. It's all about the disables against this glass cannon. So, yeah, still pauses going through. Good thing is I'm pretty well practiced in the time killing aspect here. As far as late game scalability, right now we do see that I would say Morphling has the most potential in the late game than any hero on the map. Ember Spirit with that hyper late game multi-Battle Fury build with a little bit of crit does give him a bit of a run for his money, but unfortunately for them, they're on the same team. So combining that with the fact that Ancient Apparition and Darkseer's ultimates stay relevant throughout the entire game, I would have to say that the late game is very secure in Arrow's court. So that means that Mineski are going to have to put up the aggression. They're going to have to get their blinks early. They're going to have to start fishing for kills very fast, because if they don't find them within the first 10 to 12 minutes, they're not going to be able to gain enough traction to just win on Death Prophet's push alone. Exorcism, great spell. They don't really have that much turtle on the side of Arrow other than their natural team fight and the Ice Blast. So in this position, I would definitely have to say that the big deal is how many towers can fall and how many heroes can be slain by Mineski within that early stage, because they're in a rushdown. They're kind of going for this all-in where within the first 30 to 35 minutes, this game has to be in the bag for them, or they're going to start tapering off pretty hard. I mean, Veil is great on the Sand King, can enhance his damage with his Aghanim's to make him very prevalent throughout an extent of the game, but it's just not going to be enough by itself. Like, they're still going to need crazy farm on this Marana. She's going to have a lot of right-click momentum, and they're still on the back of that going to have to stifle the farm of the Arrow's cores before they get out of control. We do have some ping issues here, just looking at them directly. We do okay, yeah, that's a little bit of an issue there. 1,567 MS and 2,068 for the other. That is a little bit above average and less than ideal for playing a competitive match. I mean, they're already down 2 from the stand-ins. They don't want to be down 4 due to ping. So we'll let them get that sorted out. I'm sure GoodPlayGaming has some rules in place for when pauses need to be active and deactivated, how much time they get to actually delay the game. Anyways, for now, we're going to see some movement here. Now that the game is finally unpaused, Jay, as well as NMA, leaving the pack. They are going to get the stun on Rubik here. He's pretty much dead. He's just too slow on his feet to actually get out of this situation. So he is going to be the first blood going right to Jesse Vash, picking up that extra 409. And yeah, he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself for transitioning into that Blink Dagger. Now, as for what it is right now, it's going to be NMA to drop this Observer Ward in place. If we just look at the Radiant Vision it provides, they can see things flanking out from all the way out here, as well as in this tree line here. So anybody coming across this line is going to be scattered out by this ward. It does not block the camp. That's going to be open for pulls, but, you know, it's still going to give important vision, which is going to be highly contested in this laning circumstance. Right now, Batrider going to try to get every inch he can with the boots first and the sticky napalm. He doesn't really fear anything but Rubik's telekinesis, and if he has Asa Mosin, he's okay with a couple of sets of creeps being pulled. He can always sit over here, go a Firefly over the cliff, and leech jungle experience whenever he finds it appropriate. Sentry Ward will come down, but will miss, but he still doesn't have great visuals, and actually he's going to get caught out here. Telekinesis comes right on through. There's a Chilling Touch. Oh, they don't have Waveform. They need these right clicks. It is enough damage, though, and it's going to be Johnny to pick up the last hit. Yeah, Lance started off with this Morph, so he doesn't have that Quick Burst nuke, but even still. Now we see some movement here. Oh, they see both the Sand King and shortly after the Nyx Assassin. Jay's still going to be going in for this. There is no Waveform away, and now the Magic Stick is going to be very important here. Strength morphing it up, needs to use a Magic Stick as quickly as possible, and he's still surviving under his tower. They're diving deep, though, and they will get this kill. 3 stacks of Napalm is enough. They will finish him off, but at the cost of Jesse Vash's life. As well, Jay in a very bad spot here. Tangoing, salving up, but he is caught in the jungle here. 1 Burrow Strike is all he has to get himself out of here. We'll see if it's enough. Johnny scouting it out, now crossing paths with him. And this is a really bad spot to be in. He's still going to go for the kill on Johnny here. The stun, it's almost enough damage by itself. The right clicks are there, but the disables pull him away. Johnny is back up. Another Ice Vortex, not even needed, with Lance's Waveform to finally come on through. So yeah, Lance going for a very defensive build-up in items, and yeah, with the Magic Wand, he knows he's going to be under pressure, but the thing is, he's been very aggressive in terms of agility and strength morph. Like, he wanted as much right-click damage as possible to CS on this lane. In the end, he's going to be running a strength-to-agi ratio of 15 to 38, and kind of setting himself up on that one. Now we see the flank to gank. Jay coming through looking for that Burrow Strike, but there's so many creeps in the way. The arrow setup is almost non-existent. Like, you can Burrow Strike here, and there's still 3 creeps in the way. Jay taking so much damage from the Iron Chill. What is this? Now Ember Spirit coming in. DDZ with the haste rune, takes a freebie, and walks right back to the mid lane. Oh, goodness. That was awkward Sand King move from Jay. Obviously, like I said, it's not his hero necessarily. He loves to play those farm-dependent heroes, those late-game carries, micromanagement, things like that are his style, but apparently not the level 1 Sand King initiation. Now we see even more Iron Shells coming through. Looks like, yeah, Surge Iron Shell pressure coming out onto Chin. He's going to be looking for the arrow and the leap away if necessary, but for now they're just going to mana burn him up. Xiangzai has enough gold for his Soul Ring, so it's not going to be that costly, but for now he is completely out of mana.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Looking over the mid lane, it's one lane we haven't really gotten a chance to look at. Hopefully you guys have plenty of info just coming in from the CS charts here, but it's going to be 17 for 3 in favor of the Death Prophet, and we do see it's 13 for 1 for DDZ. He did pick up the haste rune, did nab a kill, so as far as net worth and experience, they're actually fairly even, but for now, at least on terms of the lane CS, Death Prophet is sitting pretty high. Back up on top lane, stacking up some more Magic Wand charges for themselves. They've got a stick on both Mosin and Johnny and the full wand on Lance, so they are able to push against this Napalm pretty effectively. Instead of being stifled by it, they're actually fueled by it. They get sustained mana, sustained health pools, and they can keep right-clicking away. So, forgoing the aspect of pulling the camp to the lane and denying out experience, they just say, we'll go ahead, put some pressure on the tower itself, and maybe we'll be able to force them out of lane entirely. So, we'll see how well they zone him. For right now, the Batrider has found some early levels. Level 3 for himself, Jesse Vash, now uses that to go back to the jungle. So we'll see if there's any stacks for him. It looks like there is a double stack here, Satyrs and Trolls, and nothing on the western front. So Sand King, Bat Rider, both very, I don't know, indebted to the stacking there. They really do need it. DDZ going to go in here. Actually a big mistake because there is that Invis gang coming through, but he's able to get under his tower safely. They're just going to switch targets over to Johnny here, and with one more sticky napalm, he should be caught in a bad position, but they've got reinforcements. The Rubik's here. They pull back the Death Prophet, and they won't be able to get the nukes off. It's going to be on the Flame Break to try to bring to Johnny, and no, he Magic Sticks up. Magic Stick saving his life. The Bat Rider going too deep, and Jesse Vash takes a spill. He thought he could do enough damage. That Magic Stick bait comes through for him. And, of course, the rotation from Mosin was very important to make sure that rank 3 Crypt Swarm was not the Rubik's undoing. Even so, we do see the Nyx Assassin being picked up, Searing Chains down, and it is going to be another kill in favor for Arrow. The opposite of what Mineski absolutely needed to be able to pull into the mid to late game. So right now, 7 for 2, things looking really good for Arrow, as they not only have the dire early potential to Roshan, but on top of that, they have the mid to late game cores. So, Darkseer with the Soul Ring, soon to be Boots of Speed and then Mechanism, and from there, I don't see Mineski taking a fight easily. There's still a lot of potential for pickoffs. There's a lot of potential for them to maybe push through for an early tower with Exorcism. But for now, the tower stands strong. There's only 2 deaths on the board for Arrow as a whole, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Now, it is going to be Jay on the Sand King to pick up this double stack here. The Bat Rider looks to be just going for a 1v1 matchup against Lance. Really has to make up for lost time, though. He has expended a lot of resources with those dives. And, I mean, he did come out on top twice over, but he's fallen 3 times. So, whether or not that's the most valuable of movement, I would say not, but we'll see. If you can get that blink fast enough, I guess it won't make too much of a difference. But it's just difficult because they're under the gun so significantly right now. The Haste Rune on DDZ. Is he going to go for this? I mean, Searing Chain's available. Yeah, he just jumps right on in. Singles him out. Searing Chains connects, and they can nuke him down right here. Easy peasy. Death Prophet, the last right click, goes to DDZ. And he finishes up his drums off of that, I believe. Maybe the phase. In this case, he's just going to save it up and make his decision after he builds up a little more unreliable gold. It is going to be a whiff on the Burrow Strike from Jay. DDZ just walks out, delivers a couple of nukes, and look at this. Oh, he's going deep. Almost gets him 17 HP. And Jay, he is just in a very, very bad way right now. No HP, almost completely out of mana. And where does he go? Like, he just popped a Clarity, and, you know, at best he can Sandstorm down a Creep Wave. He, at worst, has to waste a Clarity and then go back to base. He just has nothing going for him right now. Mirana's doing okay to some extent. 39 for 10 is not too shabby, but comparing that to Lance's Morphling, 42 for 22, the Lincoln Sphere is just going to come out that much more rapidly for Lance, and that's going to cause some real problems for the top tower and for the team fights. You can't really pin him down easily without a Force. In fact, yeah, you really can't pin him down without a Force Staff. You have to either Bird Strike lasso him or Force Staff lasso him in order if he has the Lincoln Sphere up, because they don't really have anything that breaks the Lincolns. They have Burrow Strike, and they have, of course, the lasso itself, which you don't want to pop on a sphere. Now we do see some big damage coming out. The Searing Chains will whiff here. DDZ didn't time it appropriately, but it seems like it's enough damage. Just following up the Fire Remnant with that rank 2 Sleight of Fist, and they get another clean kill. I do prefer this build than Ember Spear, by the way, right now. The 2 points in Searing Chains is an absolute must to get the 2-second disable, doubling up the time, but also, it's very important to get some real points in Flame Guard against a team like this. There are a lot about the Magic Nuke, and you have to persist through that. So he is putting a lot into that Immolation effect. They're going to go for a gank here onto the Morphling. They don't have Silence, though, so he's just going to morph, wait from away. Is it going to be enough? Yeah, he just gets his Replicate, gets a TP reinforcement, and he's going to be fine. If BYB had a Silence instead of a rank 3 Crypt Swarm, that would have been a completely different situation. Actually, might get Mosin. Wow, the negative armor. Oh, that low armor coming in from Rubik, almost enough to actually bring him down. He's down to below 20 HP, but in the end, they can't finish it. He limps away. Lance still hiding under his tower, regenerating with that Ring of Health. But yeah, since I was talking about skill builds, I kind of transitioned that vein of thought over to the Death Prophet here. If you actually look at the skill scaling of Crypt Swarm, it's kind of like Bounty Hunter Shuriken. It's a little oblong at certain rankings. So you look at it, 100 to 175, 175 to 250, and then 250 to 300. It's less valuable at its going from rank 3 to rank 4 than at any other point in time. So a lot of people prioritize even Witchcraft over that 4th point in the Crypt Swarm, and as well against a Morphling and an Ember Spirit who rely on their spells to escape. You probably want a point in Silence too. So if they had gone for like a 3-1-3 build, the Death Prophet would be doing a lot better than she currently is. But, you know, it's a matter of preference. It's a matter of consistency. I don't know. But in any case, we're going to see another pause come through with a 9-for-3 advantage for Arrow. They're about to take this last hit on the tower. I mean, maybe DP can get it. She did just get her phase boost, but can the attack even come through quick enough? Range attack animation has already begun. The big palm slap coming out from Xiangzai. Let's check out that in showcase view. Sorry, Dota TV viewers, if that screws it up. But yeah, he is mad. He is mean. He is about to unleash a whole can of whoop ass on this tier 1 tower. But yeah, we'll see who gets the last hit as the unpause comes through. For now, it's a disconnect from Jesse Vash. He's having some issues here, and we'll get him back in just a moment. Level 5 Sand King. At this point, I don't even know if he should go for the Epicenter at 6. Like, you go for the Epicenter when you think you have the Blink Dagger, or if you think you're pro enough to be able to actually get an Epicenter off without a Blink Dagger. But against this team with this much mobility, this much potential to commit, if you're Epicentering within Burrow Strike range of somebody, you're just going to get Telekinesis. You're just going to get vacuumed or Searing Chained. So I really don't see this happening, and I think that 6 point might just be put into Sandstorm for faster farming. Go for like a 4-3-0-1 build, and you pick up your Epicenter at 8, closer to when you pick up that Blink Dagger. But I don't know. When it comes down to it, it also depends on when Jesse Vash picks up a blink of his own, because he does pull the opposition towards you. A cool thing about this combo of heroes is that once the Bat Rider blinks in, lassos somebody away from their allies, the allies are kind of forced to clump in. Like, let's say they pull them under the tier 1 tower, then everybody's going to have to go into this choke point here, and they're going to be in a perfect spot that if you're lurking in the tree line here, you can kind of make a beeline for that. So there is some hope for some pretty AoE combos from Mineski. About the Epicenter, the Crypt Swarm, the Starstorm. That's most of Arrow's life points right there, and they still don't have this mech online just yet. 400 gold off if the last hit comes through, and indeed it does from Xiangzai. That is going to be the mech, so even with all those abilities, it might not be enough to win a fight. Still, they'll do their best they can. Going for another stack here in McCube. You're going to be able to get another one here from the Central Heart. Or is he actually? No, the Wild Wing backs off pretty early here. And they do actually miss out on that up. Holy crap, what a Searing Chains. Oh, going through with the Sleight of Fist. The Searing Chains connects. DDZ still has some Flame Guard up, so the Starstorm's doing a bit of damage. But will it be enough? Drum bottle, bottle, bottle? No, it's not. He's just going to spend his unreliable gold on the phase boots, and he won't be able to get out of there just yet. But man, I can't believe how long range that Searing Chains was with the Sleight of Fist. Like, he was able to get the max distance out of that one. Either way, space created. It is a pretty big kill from Mineski, but Arrow are making the most of it. They're putting pressure here onto the top tier 1. Rubik Replicant tanking things up. Very durable at that. And it looks like it is going to be a last hit going to Lance. No, just to the Dire in general. Courier sending out TP. Still waiting to farm up this camp for the Blink Dagger. This is going to take another stack to come through, and this might be a little too late type scenario. I mean, they're pushing on the tier 2 top. They get the stack out, but he's going to be farming for that Blink Dagger while they're killing towers. They'll use the ultimate to disengage Moonlight Shadow, and it is enough to force Arrow back for the moment. They don't know exactly what they're up against. So Jesse Vash does find his Blink Dagger here, these last creeps, tipping him over the edge. But it's going to be burst nukes coming out, the Ice Blast and the Waveform coming across onto the Sand King. They get that kill and confidently march to bring down this tier 2. There is no fortification. There is no chance of stopping this. And the last right clicks, it should be a last hit for Lance, and indeed it is. So looking at his item tally, he's got the Lincoln Sphere recipe coming out, and just walking over to the side shop right here, he will pick it up in full. Full Lincoln Sphere at 12 frickin' minutes, guys. That is insane. Now coming out, Death Prophet taking some big hits. That's the Searing Chains you need. Or, wow, Sleight of Fist, whatever. They will be able to bring him down and pick up a double damage rune. I mean, the stars are aligning here for Team Arrow and Arrow Gaming as a whole. I mean, they don't really need it right now. They're at such an advantage they don't need luck, but just those extra little things absolutely cement their advantage. An arrow will hit here onto the illusion, but I don't know. I mean, going in, they actually put the Lincolns onto DDZ, try to prevent the lasso. They just back off. Ice Blast into the Telekinesis, a great waveform as well. They spell steal the Impale. They throw it right back out on the Nyx himself, and they will get a 4-for-0. Arrow are just absolutely dominating right now. It looks like it's going to be the run to get away. Chin, oh, Burst Strike under Tower. Shangzai will take some hits. But, I mean, they have Exorcism, but what will it kill? Like, Mosin's already dead. Johnny could drop down on the back into one more Crypt Swarm, but they're under so much pressure, they're just going to have to back off. So, in the end, they get exactly 1 kill, but they lose so much more. 15 for 5. Arrow, take that Lincoln Sphere, take that double damage, and use it as an opportunity to combine their forces into one devastating push. So, Water plus Fire actually mixes pretty well, and we do see them bursting down their opponents, taking down another Tier 1, and they still have the Wall of Replica on top of that. Darkseer farming up towards his level 11 quite quickly, and yeah, he can probably go Blink from here, I would say. Blink plus Ice Blast is such a good combo, and my oh my, I have not seen this one. I've seen a lot of weird Midas pickups, not on the Ancient Apparition though, and it doesn't make too much. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, the aspect of getting that level 16, getting the Aghanim Scepter up as quickly as possible. It's definitely fueled by this Midas, and it's not really going to hurt their impact on the game. I mean, comparatively speaking, that gold would be put into, like, Urn of Shadows or something like that for kind of a build-up item. In this case here, he's happy to just kind of go for the rush of it, build up some reliable gold. He'll have more buybacks later, and yeah, they are going to have that big Wombo combo in no time at all. Aghanim Scepter, Ice Blast, plus the Ethereal Blade, Shotgun Morphling, as well as that Blink Darkseer. It is just going to get unreal from here. Mineski, they don't really have that great of counter initiation. Looking over at net worth, we are going to be looking at just disastrous results for Mineski. I mean, the Mirana isn't doing too bad. 6,200 net worth on Mirana. She did go for a Midas herself, but I mean, when you look at that, 6,200 net worth isn't scary. Like, 15,000 net worth on Mirana you start to be a little bit worried about it, but 1 or 2 items won't be a defining thing. Blink Surgeon, they're going to get the Ice Blast and the Vacuum. Here's onto 2. The wall not really going to accomplish too much, but they're still going to try to follow through onto the Sand King, and they will get him, even though Mosin's Burrow Strike did not connect. So, good movement here. And, I mean, as the Batrider, what do? You're like, yeah, I can throw out a 2nd half and disable. I can blink in, and as long as they're not Lincolns, then I can help somebody, but they have the Telekinesis, they have the Burrow Strike, they have such durable heroes at this point, if you consider the Morphling able to Strength Morph.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It's just so difficult right now. They really need the pick off that Arrow's not letting get through. Like, as much of it as it is a loss for Mineski right now, it's a win for Arrow in the sense that they're not giving up this lead. They're not making those clumsy errors that could completely turn things about. For now, the Game of Thrones is kept at bay, and they're just continuing their killing spree, farming up 8,700 net worth on the Morphling here. Lance, he sees his opponent, and he's just like walking right on by casually. So that's very, very awkward. I don't know. I really think they just need this like super ideal initiation. We need like Nyx Assassin to get a Vendetta in without them having a Sentry Ward in place, get the Vendetta off, pop the Lincolns with the Mana Burn. I know it's a 28-second cooldown, but it's better than not having a lasso available. So, I mean, maybe if you do that, you go for a Silence from the Death Prophet, a Vendetta, Mana Burn from the Nyx, and then you lasso out the Morphling. In that case, you might be able to bring Lance down, but even then, that's 3 people right on top of a Morphling that is going to be coming out very shortly if you don't focus them down. And if you do focus them down, DDZ is going to make you pay. He's almost got Battle Fury number 1, and from there, just too much. Lance is coming up here, has that Replicate, used it just to get in range here, but with the mechanism, I think Death Prophet should be alright. Pretty quick on her feet here with the Phase Boots and the Witchcraft maxed. So we'll see this full combo I was talking about, the Smoke and Deceit coming through. Lance has that Lincoln Sphere up, but they do have the Mana Burn in range. They will pop it with the Mana Burn, but the Epicenter is channeled instead of the Furrow Strike. So they're going to get that interrupted immediately. He's Mosin with the Great Burrow himself. Death Prophet goes down. The wall is in place. There goes the Bat Rider and looking for one more. Do they have detection here? It doesn't look like it. Dire do not have anything in terms of full visibility, but they'll just keep moving along. Blinking in forward. Rubik and Darkseer. They'll set up the triple kill for Xiangzai. And I don't think this is a rage quit, but it is an awkward one. And oh my gosh, Jay gets found out as well. I have absolutely no idea what that epicenter was. Like, he's standing right here in range of like 3 different heroes that can stun him. And they needed the Burrow Strike to even have a chance of bringing down their opponents. So the decision making there from Jay, it just shows inexperience on this hero. And I'm not going to flame, but that was not a good play. Roche is wide open. Tier 2s are wide open. Pretty much Arrow have full control of this map. Like, Ancient Apparition doesn't even feel pressed to go for the Aghanim Scepter really early on. He's like, yeah, we can kind of build up our bread and butter, buy the very cost-efficient gem, and as long as they put that on a durable hero like the Darkseer or take good care of it, then they can make great use of it against Vendetta, against Moonlight Shadow. So, speaking of Vendetta, we are going to see him stalking up an Ancient Apparition Illusion here. Whether or not he'll actually break out on it is a different story, though. If we look on the map, they saw Johnny in the mid lane, but they're going to unleash all hell on this faker. No, don't lasso. Please don't lasso, for goodness sake. And even Lance actually jumps in. He pops his Replicant, knowing they just exhausted 2 of their big spells. If he had an Ethereal Blade, that'd be a kill. Actually, Ice Blast, it just might be. The Ice Blast will hit onto 2 here. A good sleight of fist as well. They bring down the Sand King, and DDZ Remnants right on in. Gets the Searing Chance on the chin. He's going down. And that's going to be actually a kill steal from the Rubik right here. Waving in, they bring down the Nyx as well. And this is just a massacre. This is just a slaughter here from Arrow Gaming. They are just doing too much work. And at this point, Roche will be the nail in the coffin for Mineski. I'm one to try to stick it out and say, you can come back. You can let their opponent throw. Let them make their mistake. Game of Dota is a game of throws. But right now, Arrow are just too strong. You look at the graphs. Gold is in favor, 13,000. Experience up almost 12k as well. They are just looking too good right now. And I honestly, Arrow would leave me dumbfounded if they could find a way to thread this advantage away. But we'll see. For right now, they're going to try to turtle it up. Sand King, sandstorming it up. The Bat Rider, looking for that Force Staff. The, what was it? Veil of Discord, already out for Darkseer. Now let's think about this for a second. The Ice Blast does a lot of magical damage. Lance is about to come online in full with crazy magic damage. Like, Burst is his middle name. But on top of that, they do have Fade Bolt, and they do have Remnant and a couple of other abilities from Ember Spirit that do magical output. So combining that all together with the Iron Shell Wall of Replica, you've got some pretty good burst. And the Veiled Discord is probably the most cost-efficient way to enhance that. Just a Veil Ethereal on a target. Anybody that doesn't have Spike Carapace up is dead. And I'm like, that's not even like an exaggeration. They don't have BKBs. The Death Prophet is probably the tankiest with her Magic Wand mech and 1200 static HP. But even still, I think a Veil Ethereal Blade with max agility on Lance, it might be too much for her. It is a crazy good combo once Adaptive Strike is maxed out. We're going to see the Maelstrom come out for the Mirana. They did Moonlight Shadow in to try to find a pickoff, but nobody's even bothering with this top tier 1. Arrow all focused together for the most part here in the mid lane. Only one off to the side is the Ember Spirit, and he's just throwing out Remnants left and right to get to the action when he needs to. So they will lose their tier 1. This is the second tier 1 tower of the game claimed by Mineski, but does it even really give them that much space in the game? It does give them that hefty sum of gold. They desperately needed it to really get their items moving, but they still are very far behind in terms of teamfight potential, and they use their full exorcism on that first tier 1, which, I mean, yeah, when you're desperate for a tower, I guess that's a move you can make, but I don't know, it's like, you don't have that for the teamfight to defend your high ground, you don't have that for the push to the tier 2. The tower was completely uncontested anyways, and it just goes to show how much push Mineski is really lacking. Mirana has the Aquila, they can clear out the creep wave pretty easy with their AoE, and then they've got the exorcism. Those 3 things are the only way that they actually take down the tower, and it takes its time. So good turtle from the Ancient Apparition using that Ice Blast to kind of counter push, and from there they're really limiting Mineski's gains. They can just control the map, control the resources of farm, and squash them out of existence.
tower is under attack.
Trying to go for a fishing searing chains. It is now max, so 3 full seconds. Oh, Mosen's going to steal up and impale. That's not too bad.
Dire's top tower.
But for now, they're just going to be doing some pinprick pressure to the tier 3 in mid and then backing off here. I think they should go for Roche first. There's no reason not to go for Roshan, especially on it like heroes like Morphling and Ember Spirit. You get that second life on Morphling, who's been running full agility for his first full life, and you just get this insane amount of potential on a hero that has no regard for safety. He can just go ahead and be as reckless as he wants to. Lasso's going to come on through here. They do get the impale. Big nuke coming out onto Lance, but he just strength morphs it up. DDZ takes his miss. He will fall. Glass Cannon at hard, and the supports aren't able to come through in time to save him here. They have blinks, they have the wall and all that, but it just, the reaction wasn't there. The mech was on CD. So these shenanigans, going for the slow siege, it does cost them. However, DDZ immediately buys backs. He remnants back to the front lines, and they don't have Lasso available. Maybe trying to take advantage of that here. They go in. Ethereal Blade hits onto Mirana. She will be forced back, but Moonlight Shadow comes through, and maybe they can make something happen here. Let's look for the wall, look for the vac. Will it be enough here? A good silence starts off, but there it is. Xiang's eye with the blink. There's the double wall. The arrow hits on an illusion, and they just evaporate. Taking down the Nyx. He buys back, taking the DP. She doesn't have it available. So they take down some big kills. They walk right back out, and they can keep doing it again. It's the in and out play from this team here. They still have the wall up. They have the space and the ability, but Batrider trying to scare them off. Right now, just fast jumps in without a lasso and immediately force-taps out some shenanigans at work. It's going to be actually the Nyx to pop here. They blink in, they burst him down with that adaptive ethereal, and now Lance, he does get hit by an arrow, but is just forced to turn over 103 for 5 in terms of strength. So not much damage output coming from him. He's going to have to... Oh, that's it. He gets his ally to give him a TP scroll. He throws his null talisman on the ground. He's going for Dagon, seriously? But anyways, he replicates his ally. He TPs back home with his ally's TP, and then he replicates right back up to the front line with his agility back up. So, full agility. Gotta go man mode. 1 point in strength. The null talisman is not left behind. They take it with them, and they will take it back to Roshan to bring it down with quite great ease. So Lance here, he replicates to that Rubik fake, jumps into the pit, and they're going to be able to take this out with no problem at all. So no talisman picked up by somebody. Yeah, here it is. Lance's null talisman. This is going to be a Dagon on top of an Ethereal Blade. Like, this is the ultimate cheesy burst Morphling, but they don't have any BKBs. They don't actually have a way to contest it. They only have like 9,500 net worth. If they had a BKB, that'd be a third of Mirana's gold. So, bottom line is, Lance realizes they're so underfarmed they can't hold up to it, and you just go pop, pop, pop. It's a triple barrel shotgun at this point with the Dagon. That is, I don't even think I've actually seen that one. I'll have to check on Dat Dota how frequently this has been built on Morphling, but it works perfectly fine. They've got Veil, they've got even Ice Vortex to enhance it just a little bit there when they're vacuumed on top of it. So you go with the Waveform, the Ethereal Blade, Adaptive Strike, and Dagon, and you can do all that damage without risking yourself. Mosen will actually get caught out here. Oh, Ice Blast will fly, but Johnny's still going to get caught out by this lasso. Now that it's gone, cooldown though, the triple barrel comes out. Nuke, nuke, nuke. They bring down one. Now looking for Death Prophet. I think they have a stun. Yeah, they're going to lift her up with the telekinesis. She's going to be going down quick, and they're going to pursue on to the Batrider well. Quick Adaptive Strike, and she's gone. And looking back over, Xiangzai almost falls. The exorcism is almost enough, but he mechs, he lives. And you can't say the same for DP. So they did get out a couple. Sand King and Nyx Assassin did escape. Mineski took the tier 2 as well, but yeah, in this 30-second death timer, we're just going to see Jesse Vash go for a reconnect. Unpaused reconnect, no BM here. Alright, laser time. Looking for the Veil, looking for the pop, pop, pop. Let's see it. Nyx Assassin, like I said, can Carapace one of those shots. I don't even know if one Carapace is enough against this guy, though. Morphling is in just such aggressive stance, and he's looking for blood. We do see Moses starting things off. He steals the Burrow Strike. There it is! There's the Dagon! Triple nuke coming from Lance. He takes him down. And he still has that Aegis, so he can run full agility at this point, though he is running 13 strength at the moment, baseline. So Johnny catches an arrow. That's not enough for Mineski to go on. And with their desperate position as far as buybacks go, they don't want to commit too hard to a fight here. They are up against an Aegis Morphling. They just want to poke him down, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. The Carapace now expires. Nyx Assassin in a bad spot, and he's gone. Looking for Chin as well. He is going to be backed out and killed. So they get their gem back. Now looking for the Bat Rider. He's back in the action, but not for long. Gets dropped down. Now it's going to be Lance to lose the Aegis Immortal. One last right click. No, he replicates back to base, and he's going to be able to BOT. No, he doesn't have BOTs, so it's going to be a long walk back. But DDZ actually gets picked. It's a 1 HP Morphling, by the way. He's just going for the full Agimorph here in the fountain. He does have a Dagon 3 right now, once he gets back into it. But the assault is repelled, and if one thing can keep Mineski in this game, it's keeping those racks up. The fact is, Arrow are clowning around a little bit. They're going for some unique item builds. Not to say they're not effective, but in terms of the utmost of late games, they might not be the most viable. So if they continue to maybe feed the Ember Spirit, just based on the fact that he's so squishy, lose sight of objectives by not taking down the racks, Mineski have that small chance. So we'll give it to him. For now, though, the Aegis is still up and intact. I could swear that it was going to go down there, but Strength Morph is too good. So Lance gets out once again, is now stalking prey up here. He actually waves just to get in position, and Mosin's going to be here with the telekinesis. Into the Burrow Strike. There, he just replicates in. You look at the range of this replicant spell, he can jump that far without even waveforming. So he jumps to the Rubik immediately, and yeah, Adaptive's too strong. He's actually got 219 right-click damage, so it's not just the magical output, though. In this case, you're going to see it here. The Ethereal Blade first. Sandstorm can only save you for so long. There it is. The wave, the Adaptive. And another connection quit. I don't think it's rage quits, but BOT's up. Lance is just as farmed as can be. His KDA right now is 10, 1, and 12. It's only 28 minutes of the game, and he's farming... not the fountain in this case. He jumped, BOT'd back up to the top tier 1 and picked off an easy Mirana, who doesn't have much HP to boast. So, Lance, he essentially has turned this Morphling into a Tinker. He can jump all over the map with Replicant and BOTs. He can dig on an Ethereal Blade to his heart's content. He's mobile, he's bursty, and there's just no response from Mineski. Like, hand them all 4,000 gold and give them all BKPs or maybe Blade Mills. I don't think that's really good against Waveform, but who knows. Even then, I think they're in a bad spot. But the fact that they don't have a single person with immunity to magic, it really hurts. And one important interaction to mention is how things like Blade Mail and, more appropriately here, Spike Carapace work against targets that are immune. While Morphling's in Waveform, you can't actually reflect any of his spells. Spike Carapace will not hit on a target that's invulnerable. That's why when a Puck is trying to go for a killing blow on a spiked Nyx Assassin, he throws out like an orb, and then he phase shifts, because it doesn't affect him while he's invulnerable, and so the damage will pierce through. And the same is true as far as I know for Waveform. So while he's waving, he can cast his spells, cast his items, and he can actually take out the Nyx as long as he has vision. Looking at the item tallies, don't want to go without examining progression for too long, even though this game seems over to many. We do see Blink is up for the Sand King alongside Double Bracer Treads. He just wants to survive, but you see how futile that effort is. Death Prophet's gone in fractions of a second. Double damage again for DDZ. This one's going to expire pretty quickly, but he still has that double Battle Fury. If you go get singled out, you're dead. You group up, you're dead. So in this situation, it's just brutal. But they're going to start off with that big lasso. Unfortunately, just get vacuumed into a very nice wall replica. The nukes come out, and this should be the game. There is one last desperation buyback from the Nyx Assassin, but nevertheless, they call it here. The white flag is waved, and Mineski will be losing out in this first game here. It's a 2-game series, so in either case, Arrow's going to be taking at least 1 point out of this, and they're well on their way to taking their second. We'll see how the second game plays out here in the Good Play Gaming SEI Invitational group stage. But for now, Arrow holding strong, holding their now 3-0 unstoppable streak in this tournament, and we'll see if they can keep it up. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to this game here. 31-minute game between Arrow and Mineski, concluding with a 43-9 kill advantage. 20,000 net worth Morphling. What more can you ask for in this kind of a game? Shoot, that is something I've not seen at all in professional Dota is that Dagon Morphling, but quite effective. 14-1 and 13. Anyways, we're going to be going into Game 2 in just a few minutes here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Beyond the Summit for this broadcast of the Good Play Gaming SEAI. Once again, this is brought to you guys by Good Play Gaming and partnered with by Cat in the Box. It's actually a interesting sponsor because it's like a coffee shop in Malaysia. So you guys actually watch an Era Gaming from your hometown, look up Cat in the Box. They're apparently a really cool little coffee shop there. But other than that, yeah, we're going to begin into this next game here. Hopefully, Mineski plus standards can hold up to the onslaught of Arrow and give us a pretty awesome game too. But this one, just a stomp. And I don't want to say Jay should never play Sand King again, but not this level of Sand King. He needs to step it up if he's going to pick that hero for himself once again. Anyways, that's it for this one here. Going into Game 2 in just a few minutes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I myself am Blaze. If you enjoyed the commentary, look me up on twitter.com/blazecasting. And yeah, otherwise I'm sure the VODs will be up on Beyond the Summit.